Bethany TV for health.
It is without a doubt that family is one of the most important units in our society, because it's family that gives us identity, it nurtures us, and in most cases, it has people who relate with us, with what we do, and give us peace, happiness, love as we grow into life. But sometimes we find that when we start work, it becomes hard to balance this unit that gives us everything with work that helps us survive in terms of income. And tonight, we are looking at work-life balance. It has almost become a word buzz in different places. Inspirational speakers talk about work-life balance. Mental health experts talk about work-health balance. Even at work, people talk about work-life balance. But it is easier said than done. And tonight, on Bethany TV for Health, on our show, Back to Basics, we are going to discuss what work-life balance means. And we look at what do we need to do? What are the challenges, regardless of the nuggets that family give us when we are growing? But why don't we achieve this? In the studio, I'm joined by a counseling psychologist, Charles Senaburia. Charles, you're very much welcome.
Thank you, Moses.
It has been quite long.
Sure.
I think about 2 months.
I think 2 months.
About 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, since you last visited and be part of this show.
Sure.
But all the same, you're looking great.
I've really missed you being here. Yeah, and now that I'm here, we are sure we're going to interact.
Wow.
We'll talk a lot. Yes.
It's very interesting. So how have you been?
Yeah, we are doing well. Work is going on. We have to balance, like you're saying, work, family. You know, it is not easy, but life must go on.
Yes.
Work must go on. Family must survive. We must live with our families. So it's very important, but we are doing well. How has it been with your side?
Has been well. The Lord is keeping us alive, and we are working, like you've said. Yeah. Definitely hustling, as we normally call it, balancing family and work and life. It's like that. But we are living. Yeah. And all the same, we are happy.
And most times when we have the basics for survival, we move on.
We move on.
Yeah.
We handle challenges as they come.
As they come.
And when there's happiness, we enjoy.
Someone says we cross the bridge when we are there. So when the challenge comes, you find a way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's life.
Very true.
So how is your family?
Family is doing well. Family is okay. Sometimes because of work, I really take long to see family. It takes me time. Yeah. But whenever you meet with them, they are very happy. It's great seeing me again, and life moves on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So just understanding, you're saying you take long seeing your family. If you don't mind, how many children do you have?
In Uganda, there is so much Wanzaro. You know that one?
I know that saying, but I've never tried to know the reason behind.
The reason behind
because I can't comfortably tell you that I have 3 children.
Okay, anyway, I have 3. Okay. Anyway, I have
but I know
3.
culture is culture.
Yeah, anyway, I have 3. The other one was just a joke.
Yes.
But sometimes you see the reason behind the other one is because you can have children who are not biologically yours, but you're taking care of them. So when you say, I have 2, when at home there are 5, the other ones may feel like
you kind of neglected and not considered.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet you're taking care of them.
Yeah, but currently I have 3 that I'm taking care of.
So I'm a bit interested when you said you take time seeing them. Maybe if you don't mind and you share, what do you mean by you take time seeing them?
Okay. It is interesting. The place of work is far away from the place of residence. So keeping on shifting family from where I stay, wherever I get to work is where I take family. Sometimes it is inconveniencing. You find that children are in school.
Yes.
So every other time you have to shift, you have got to shift to their schools, and that interrupts the way they study. You've got to find that maybe the other family members have started some businesses wherever you are.
Yes.
So shifting them will mean again starting life again, which is not easy. So sometimes you just have to say that for me I will be flexible. Let me move, but maintain these people. So you find that where you are, it's very different. I mean, far away from where the family is. It takes time, but what helps or what keeps us going is the emotional connection. That at least every other day I must make a call, listen to them, they listen to me, we make fun, we laugh, and when we meet physically, it becomes more fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of sight doesn't necessarily mean out of mind.
That's very true. Actually, it is important to note that sometimes you may be physically next to someone, but emotionally you are
disconnected.
far away. Yeah, you're disconnected.
And I think that's the worst situation.
Yeah, very true. And many people are going through that. Yes. I think that can be a discussion of another day, but very many people are having that in their lives. Sure.
Once again, Charles, you're very much welcome.
Thank you.
And with your experience, even how you're living, I think it gives us a very good picture of understanding family and work. Because clearly, the ideal situation of where you're supposed to be living with your family, with your wife and children, now you're living differently, but all the same you're managing. So that gives us a very good base for you to kind of share experience as we try to understand family and work and how to balance them. Everyone that is tuned in, you can join us on, you can watch live on our website, www.bethanTV.ug. When you're there, just choose watch live. You will definitely be part of this program. You can also watch this program on GoTV, free to air, and also mobile applications. We have Afro mobile app, Airtel TV, and Your TV. Do not miss, because like we said, family is very important. But we also know that work is very important, because we must support our family structures in terms of money and income.
Very true.
Let me not assume that we all understand the concept of family. And I'm going to ask Charles first to kickstart our discussion around family and work and how to balance them. When we are talking of family, what do we exactly mean?
Yeah, family, I will look at people who are staying together.
Yes.
You see, it is a home or it is a house when you are there alone. Then when people start staying together or share certain common understandings, maybe they are related, maybe by blood.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be that you people are staying in the same house. People may be staying in different places, but family is that connectedness that you have. Yes, no matter the distance, but so long as there is something that puts you together, you make a family. So
must family members be biologically connected in terms of maybe from either the same father or mother?
Not really. Not really. When we talk about family, we have the nuclear family. That is what I can talk about. I, Charles, my wife, and my children, biological children. That is the nuclear family. Yes. We also have the extended family, where I will now bring in my parents, my grandparents, my aunties, the nephews, the cousins. All that is family. Though we may not be staying in the same house,
yes,
or in the same locality, but that's family that also needs our attention at every other time. We also have family in terms of there are some people who have been adopted, okay, and they are not biologically related, but they have been adopted and they have grown up in this kind of setting. Talk about baby homes, the different ones, orphanages. There are people who grew up from there, and now it becomes a real family to them. And the people that they have been staying with there are really become family to them. And it doesn't only matter that so-and-so is my brother by blood, but because you've grown up together, you've shared a lot, these people become family. And then we also have different other families. We can have these days we have the Obis, Ogis. They can also come together to form a certain family amongst themselves. There are very many families we can talk about that collect people and unite people with a certain common kind of interest and sharing.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Charles. So when we are talking about work and family, or balancing work and family, what do we exactly mean?
Here we are talking about looking at how family and work can be connected. As I go to look for work, I want my family to be happy, because I am taking care of this family, and I have to get something good from this my workplace to make sure that my family is okay. Now we have these two concepts. We have a family and we have work. These two support each other in a way that when family is doing well, work will do well. Why? Because if I leave home, I'm happy. Say I've attended to all the meals, I've had the meals, I've been happy, the children have been like, daddy bye-bye, the wife has been my husband bye-bye, you know. If there is a maid, is also daddy bye-bye. I live with that smile, and I'm assuming that everything is good at home. When I go, this smile is the one that I'm taking at work. So, which means I'm going to do with a lot of energy, because I know I'm working for a certain family which is happy, which is expecting a lot from me. You know, you reach work and everything looks nice for you, because at home, everything was fine. But now, on the other way, if home is not good, work can never be good. Work is going to be good if home is doing well. For example, if I leave home and maybe we've quarreled. Take an example. If there is a lady working and she had a conflict with her husband, maybe she was beaten at night. This is the person who is supposed to come and chair a board meeting or in a kind of meeting in the morning after being beaten. And then you, an employee or someone who is under her, you bring a report which is not complete. How do you expect that environment to be? Of course, she's going to react. Or even a man who has quarreled with a husband, with a wife at home, coming to work with that anger. Most of the times you find that you're bringing the other anger from home. Now you're going to use it or to apply it to the people you are working with. Sometimes we've seen people who sleep in offices because they did not have a good place at home. A good time at home. So they spend a whole time sleeping in the office. Or sometimes they are very angry. They will never share with others at work. So work and family go hand in hand. If you are an employer and you want your employees to be productive at work, make sure you find ways of helping them to make sure the home is okay and it is stable. Sometimes our employers are like, my work is what I'm interested in. I don't care about your family. And there are people making mistakes. There is no one who can give you 100% when home is not stable.
So with that scenario that you've given, it looks like it's two-way. For example, you said from home. If home is not okay, definitely someone at work is affected. Productivity and the energy is affected at work. But don't you also think if at work things are not fine, for example, the boss, I'm just trying to do the reverse, the boss has quarreled with a person, and there is a likelihood that this father will now carry these issues that he has had at work back to his home, for example, and you find there is no love at his children and peace at home. Is that so? Or there is a better way how you will now advise people and viewers and all of us to see how to manage that such that there is no spillover of such incidences from work to home?
Yeah, actually, Moses, what you're saying is right. It's right that the way I explained it from the other side, that when family is not okay, home is not okay. I mean, work is not okay. The reverse is true. Even when work is not okay, home is not fine.
Home is not fine.
It can never be fine. But under certain circumstances,
Yes.
I will give you the circumstances. Most times when there is a lot of work overload at my workplace, I'm forced to carry this work to home.
To home.
And when I reach home, for example, I'm with my laptop and I'm doing office work, it goes to midnight, someone will ask me, Mkulu, won't you come to bed? Won't you sleep? And sometimes we are used to play with our children when we get back. Now here you've gone with work, you have a deadline to beat, your boss is busy calling you, I want this, and the children, you know, for them they are okay. When daddy comes, we have to play. When mommy comes, we have to play. They are jumping all over you. The boss is quarreling you, you have a deadline to beat. The children are quarreling you. I mean, the children are just playing all over you. Because for them, they are used to that. What happens? You're going to start barking at them. Sometimes you're going even to abuse them, to beat them up. And that one, it's now going to bring a certain conflict between you, the parent, and then the children.
And the children.
So even the mother or the father will start being like, no, leave your issues of work. So it's going to bring that kind of confusion in a home. However, when it meets some families, there are some spouses who are understanding. They will know that when work is not good, I can stand in for my spouse. I can stand in for my husband. I can stand in for my wife. Because home is supposed to be, if I can call it, a paradise for everyone. Okay. I'm looking at a family or home in a way that when every other thing has become a challenge to me, has become a problem to me, there is somewhere I'm going to go and find peace, and that should be the family.
And that should be the family.
That's what, yes. Okay.
Charles, let me interject a bit before we get there. And thank you for establishing the relationship between work and family and how they actually depend on each other for survival and to be okay. But if someone out there, or if a person asks you, what is family work balance? How can we package that to help someone understand when we talk of work family balance?
Okay, thank you very much. Work family balance, it is a situation whereby I have got to know when to work, when to have family. I can call it drawing boundaries.
Those two words are very, very important.
Yes.
When to work
and when to have the family.
When to have the family.
Yes, it is very clear for me to draw boundaries, and it is very important to know that now this is time for work, and I respect that. Family issues cannot come in time for work. I respect that, and I even share with my family members that if it is time for work, let it be for work, because I'm supposed to be productive.
I think, yes, Charles, thank you very much. You've brought in very, very important concepts. And definitely at the end of all this, as we try to conclude in this session, that is what we are trying to understand. Because it's easier said than done.
Than done, true.
You'll find that sometimes we carry work not because we don't know that this time is for family, but because of the pressures at work. You have deadlines to beat. And this is your job because you need that money for family. And there is competition from workplace. You know that you must do this.
Yes.
So all those pressures,
yes,
they help us divert from the ideal situation of we know this time is really for family. But then we have work. And sometimes emails come every now and then and phone calls, even on a Sunday, reminding you of the deadline. So those are the pressures that surround us people, especially those who are employed. And I just want to understand how should we do this?
Okay, it's very important. You see, in most of the things we do, Moses, work and home and family, it is important for communication to be effective. It is very, very important for communication to be effective. If you're to balance these two, if you're to balance family and work, communication must be effective. I should communicate to my family members that this is time for work. However, we are not supposed to be rigid. People are flexible. And people who are successful in this world must be flexible. I should be able to inform my family members that, you know what, due to this and this and this reason, the program we had planned to have as a family, it will be postponed. And they should be able to understand, because it is not always. But it is something that has come up for me to get enough time to accomplish what is on my table. But I also should communicate to my bosses at work or my colleagues at work to respect also my time for family. It is important because when you start this by communicating to people, everything will be done. Where does the challenge come from? It is.
Thank you, Charles. You've highlighted communication, and you are about to bring in the challenge. Just hold it there. Definitely, we'll get back to it. For now, I just want to. We just have a very short break, and then when we come back, we'll continue to look at what should we do. What should we do in order to balance, to have that ideal balance that you spoke about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still discussing work and family balance, and what are the pressures, how should we deal with those pressures, and what are the best practices that we should adopt in order to have that ideal situation, which is easier said than done. For now, let's take a very short breather, and then we will be back.
For health.
Coming to you live on GoTV and Free to Air, and also Watch Live tab under www.bethanTV.ug. You'll be able to be part of Back to Basics. You're welcome from that short break, and we are still looking at a family work balance. It's a very interesting situation. It's a very interesting topic, and it's almost a topic that is discussed by different people. Like I said, inspirational speakers, people at work, mental health experts talk about work and family balancing. And we try, by all means. But sometimes we fail due to different pressures and demands. But with me here, Charles Senaburia, who is a counseling psychologist, we are trying to look at ways how we can mitigate that, how we can achieve that ideal work-family balance. And for the break, Charles highlighted effective communication as one of the tools that would help us to achieve work-family balance. Charles.
Yes, Moses.
You had talked of communication, but then before I interjected in for the break, you mentioned something like the challenge. What is that challenge that you're trying to bring across?
I was explaining something to do with the communication, and I was saying that the challenge is people don't want to communicate. People think the other people must understand them. You think family must understand you. You people, if I don't come for burial, just understand me, I'm at work. If I don't attend these functions, understand me, I'm at work. And people are not going to understand you. They will continue quarreling you. They will continue complaining. They will continue sending you messages. You don't come for burial, we will bury you. You don't do. And these are all going to cause you distress. Communicate to these people that according to the nature of my work, this and this is what I do. But also it is important to communicate to your bosses that you say, as long as I work, I have a problem with my family. You know, I have this and this responsibilities to fulfill within my family. I feel I can no longer continue doing this work effectively before I solve this problem with my family. If you unallowed me time to go and finish this, I will be able to know. It's a question of effective communication. Do we communicate well? Because we shall look for all solutions, but if we don't communicate, still it will be a challenge.
Indeed, communication, like you put it, is very important. But if you try to dig deeper to reasons why people don't communicate, you know, this situation where you don't expect your boss even to understand. Looking at the presidents, what has been happening, the treatment at work, and someone has that big problem with the family but knows that this is something that you can't even bring when you're at work. It's so about work. And I just want to ask, which message do you give to such supervisors and leaders and bosses at work?
Yeah, it is very important to know as supervisors, as leaders at work, employers, it is very important to know that this person you are employing has a home, has a family. You know, everything, every good aspect you've seen in this person, all the skills that you're seeing in this person started from that family. And they have been nurtured by that family. And they are going to continue being watered by that family. All the energies you're seeing in this person have all come from that family. So if you still want more of these, allow this person to interact with the family. Someone, you know, there are sometimes you meet bosses. A boss will tell you, you know what, I'm going for burial. I have someone who is sick. And you dare tell this person that my wife is sick. I will tell you now, choose.
Between work
and my wife. But for him,
yes,
he has told you, I'm going for burial.
Because he's a boss.
And he's a friend. Now,
because he's a boss.
Yes, you are a boss. You are a boss.
Yes.
But you know, everything that your company is, everything that your organization is, it is these people, the ones we call the foot soldiers, are the ones doing this. So if they are not motivated to do for you what you want, you will not be a boss. So allow these people to attend to the basic needs, and the family is a basic need. And Moses, you said
talking
that...
of basic needs, since you've brought it, what are some of the common practices that we see at work? I know different work places have different practices and the HR rules and policies, but at least we can look at the basics, so it helps us to put our discussion around communication concrete. What are some of the basic policies that most workplaces have.
Okay, that regard to family?
Regard to family.
Yeah, some of them will be like, we only allow you to leave work if it is to your immediate family member. Like we talked about the nuclear family, that is what basically they give priority. And they will tell you it is in terms of sorrow. Someone is sick, someone is probably dead. That's when they will allow you to go. And when it comes to happiness, they cannot allow you to go. They will tell you, you know what, wedding, people will attend. You don't need to go there.
Oh, you go on the day of the wedding.
Go on to the day of the wedding.
Of wedding, yes.
Yes, sometimes that's what they say. But not remembering that you as a person, you have to get involved. Also meeting your other family members, by the way, rejuvenates you. You feel like, wow, I'm happy, you know, I met so-and-so, I met my
because, you know, sometimes
cousin.
the way, because of work anyway, you find that you always meet towards those important days. Maybe it's a wedding of your sibling, of your, that's when like someone from Bale, someone from Kampala, someone from come, and it's a nice time. I agree with you.
Yeah, and it is important to note that, you know, as Africans live a communal life.
Yes.
We are not like our friends from the other world where you can live in a solitary life and it's okay. For us, our energy comes from the communal life. So if you cut me off the other community which I'm used to, that community which supports me more, there is a certain aspect of my energy that you're reducing, and you'll never get it anywhere else. I mean, anywhere from me, apart from when you've given me that opportunity to go and link up from my base. You know, I like this program. It's called Back to
Basics. Yes.
Yes. Now, where are our basics as human beings, as people? Those are our families. Those are the basics. So every other time we have challenges, we've got to go back to the basics, and get rejuvenated, and then we come back. You see, leave alone this business of where people are using it in a bad way. Sometimes when psychologically they tell us, when you go back to places you've been in for some time, you go and meet those people you have ever interacted with in happy moments, and you interact with them again, you're going to find more and more reasons for you to come back and fight with life again. Okay. You know, that's why you see during Christmas season, people will move back to their villages, because it is a very exciting kind of period of time. That's true. Yeah, so it's very, very, very important that employers allow their employees to go and connect with the family, to get involved in both happiness. Why do you only allow me to go and get exposed to sadness? I have only to meet my family when we are in tears. When they are departing. When one member is departing, and then it's when they say. Every other time I see my cousins, they are mourning. Every other time, you know, when will I meet them and we are happy and we are celebrating and we share a drink, we share some food. On WhatsApp groups. Family WhatsApp groups. But how effective are they? Because they will post the photos and the images, but definitely, obviously, that's not the right thing. Yeah. Which other basic practice do we see companies handling? I think most of them give maternity leave. Yeah, they give maternity leave, which is most of them. Yes, but now, what about the leave they give to the husbands? The paternal leave. The paternal leaves. For example, there is by law, some days. Yeah, I think, is it in Uganda? But I'm not sure if it's respected. In Uganda, I don't think it goes beyond a week. Three? I think it's between 3 to 5 days in Uganda. But now I'm looking at how is the bonding now in such a kind of period of time? Because how long does it take for a woman who has delivered to be able to do her work normally? You know, it takes some time. But you've given me only 3 days. But do you know some companies
actually don't even, they would allow someone for maternity leave and they cut off the pay.
Which is a problem and a challenge.
Yes.
Have you ever imagined why people don't go for leaves? They are fearing. Because maybe when I go home, you're not going to consider that payment. Or you're going to just tell me, please stay wherever you've gone. So you close up these people in a workplace, they get exhausted, they cannot enjoy with the families, and now that balance is totally cut off because the person has become a servant of this organization and he has neglected the actually not neglecting the family intentionally, but because of the condition you as employer or the company has given, everything is down for the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that there are at least some basic practices, but like we've tried to analyze them, as some may not be favorable, or to support you to kind of appreciate time with family. And there are sayings, there are some statements where someone says you go for leave, if the company can do without you for a month, then it's, it's as well can do without you, and it can survive. And by the time you come, you find another person is employed, actually. So there are those that are very, very unfair and may not support our endeavors to balance work and family.
Actually, Moses, it's important to note that there are some organizations which are really doing well in supporting families. I've seen organizations that support that organize family gatherings, family parties, where they call their employees, celebrate a day, bring your family members, let us have a day together and celebrate, you know. You find that day a day of fun. Moses, you've got to meet the family of your other colleague, the other colleague has got to meet, but how many years, you know, you've worked with this person for this and this number of years, but you people, you've never even met his children. You don't know his wife, you don't know her husband, and you are calling yourselves colleagues, friends at work. So sometimes there are organizations that are doing it well. I've seen during festive seasons, some organizations have given packages to their employees to take to families. And, you know, sometimes they even adjust the time. I've seen organizations that adjust the time, that may be, for example, when we talk about Christmas, they will say that maybe the week of Christmas, this group of people will go home and the other will work. Then the other group of that leads to New Year's Day, those ones now will also shift. You know, you find that they are valuing family.
They are valuing family.
Yes.
It's good to hear that. But then we understand sometimes these companies and organizations that we work for, some of those policies are out of our control as staff. Yes, we'll keep writing suggestions and ideas and we surrender them, but then you find either it takes time for them to adopt those policies, how to support their employees in terms of balancing family, but then I just want to come from the point of it starts with me as an individual, as an employee, in your own capacity, taking care and understanding and appreciating the policies of your company. What can you do to bridge this gap?
It's very important. That question is really important, because sometimes the organization has set its standards. And for me as a person, I cannot be able to change the standards of this organization. Definitely. So, but Moses, if I'm to ask you, in your daily calendar, if you're to tell us the activities that you do, is it easier for you to mention family time? Or how many do you think will mention family time in that?
Unless there is an emergency and they have called you, but sometimes you're buried in work from the time you reach office. It's either meetings or planning or answering some kind of concerns, and then the few time you have is maybe again meeting with colleagues in planning, and then maybe you eat. By the time you know it, it's time to go home, even when you haven't finished work. and you kind of have a lot.
And that is very important, Moses, now. Sometimes we are blaming organizations, but even us, we don't take family as a priority. We don't have family in our planning. As I'm drawing my daily routine, have I put family anywhere? Because sometimes I leave work in time. But instead of going home, I just move to my other businesses. So it is challenging that even us, ourselves, we have not planned for families. So one, we should put families in our daily calendars, in our daily routines.
Intentionally.
Intentionally, yes, it must be there.
Not waiting for an emergency and then
no,
you see
it must
this call
be there.
from your mom, from your dad, from your brother, and then you're like, hey, okay.
That time should be there. Don't wait for emergencies. You know that every after 2 weeks I should be going to the village maybe to see, or after 3 weeks, according to the schedules you have. Have some time that I will be going to the village to see my people in the village. Make sure that maybe at this moment of time I will be calling my mother to speak to my mother. I will be calling my dad to speak to my dad. I will be calling my wife if I'm not working maybe next to where she is, or I will be calling my husband. That one starts with you. Another thing that you need to do, you must lead, we call it leading by example.
Okay.
You're not going to tell your boss that, you know what, I need some time for my family, when it is not evident in your life, day-to-day life. You ask for time for your family, but every other time they find you in a bar.
Wait a minute. You're at work and they've never heard that you're married or you have a wife.
Yes. You've never told the people. Every conversation you have, you don't even talk about your family. You've never told the people you even have children you are taking care of. You never told the people that you have Now, how do you expect these people? Because there are some organizations which respect married people, and they have a special program for them. Now, for you, because of your maybe certain agendas and reasons, you've refused to declare your status. And sometimes even when the favor is given, you don't actually go there. If maybe your employer allows you time, and then some of your colleagues or other colleagues of yours are at home, they have gone to their families, and it is evident, and for you always, you're just rotating around. People will just know this one doesn't have much responsibilities. Actually, I think even you can do the evening program. I think even when late programs develop, they will look at you who is not always serious with the family. You are the person who will be given these responsibilities. So, it is important to know that if you are to make the other people see the value in your family, show them that you value your family first. Let it first come from you, that you value this family, then it will be, the other people will be like, but this man here, when he talks about family. I will give you an example. One day my mom was sick, and I was at work doing some work, and they called me. When they called me, I talked to my boss. It was not very far away from me. I told her that my mom is sick. They have called me that my mom is sick, and she was like, okay, you will go. First finish that. After some time, a call came again, telling me the same thing. And she just saw how I became emotional now. The way I was doing work changed. And because I had always told her about my mom, she was like, Charles, I think you can go, because I'm seeing you
even if you remain here, you're not here.
Yeah, I'm seeing the way you are doing now, and the way you are passionate about what you're talking about, you can go. Now, because this person was already aware that I'm doing this, so it is very important that we do lead this by example. Yeah, it is also important that we involve our families in understanding what we do and where we are working. and exactly the policies of our workplaces such that they can also adjust according to maybe our programs.
And the jobs that we do.
Yeah,
because if you're a security personnel and work at night and you hide it, and every evening you're going, definitely those will be questions.
Yeah, they need to know that.
That's very important to note, Charles. As we try to conclude, we've seen, you've mentioned about communication and people do not communicate. Then you mentioned another thing about maybe declaring and talking about family and trying to show that you have a family and therefore you may not be available all the time for work. We've seen people doing that, but I believe on one side that this may not be intentional, but it might be out of some of the fears that these people have. And I just want, as we conclude, what do you think it's kind of hard and for people to set time for family, and you find that they kind of succumb to these pressures at work, and it ends up work taking much more time. If we are looking at 100, you find work 80% or above, and family 20 or less percent. Okay. What do you think brings that?
There are a number of reasons. One, it is about the policies at the organizations. Sometimes they give you a policy that will not allow you to be flexible in any way. They are telling you here, it is work first. And how you deliver determines how you will earn. When you miss work, there are some people who are paid according to the days they have attended. So you've gone for burial, that day is not paid for. You've gone to attend to your sick child, that day is not paid for. So
you log in late, those that have log in and capture the hours. If it's 8 hours a day, you do 6 hours, the HR removes the 2 hours in terms of money from what you earn.
So I will leave people at home struggling. Maybe I will leave someone sick. Maybe I will call a border person, come and take her to the hospital, come and take him to the hospital. For me, I will run to work because I have something to beat. There is no flexibility at work. Another reason why sometimes people give a lot of time to work, we fail to timetable ourselves. We have a lot of what we can call procrastination. You keep extending duties. Now you are always caught up with the deadlines. You've seen people who are always caught up with deadlines. Someone will never do something in time. Every other time. So this person will always blame work, too much work, but it is you who has failed to plan your time well.
Interesting.
Maybe something else that is very important to note. There are sometimes when families or homes have become hell. So I fear to go home. Probably. Yes, I fear to go home, so I have to keep around the workplace. And I will do even work that is not supposed to be mine. I finish mine, and I look for other people who have not yet finished. And then
so you try to make sure that you're home for the fewest hours, and most of the time you're at work.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen people who have gone through that, and every other time they are doing a lot of nothing around the workplace, but they have to keep around and maybe find when time to go home when people are sleeping, or when the quarrel will be less.
So they are very early at work.
Very early at work.
And very late
to leave. Not because that's what they want.
Not because they're hardworking.
No.
Because there's a fear.
Actually, such people, you'll find that even the rate of their production at work is very low. But they will always keep around.
But they're available.
Ask them what they are doing. It is not even clear, but they are available.
Okay, Charles, our time is well spent. Concluding words to everyone who has been part of this show as we close. Yeah,
our dear viewer, we are looking at family and work. These are two important aspects of life. We cannot only dwell on work and leave families, because this is where we belong, and we cannot only deal with family and leave work, because work must sustain family. Let us plan on how to balance the two. Let us always speak to our employers to help them understand how important our families are to us, and we also ask the employers always respect the families of these people, because that's where they get the energy to do the work that you need.
Thank you very much, Charles Senaburia. Charles Senaburia, once again, is a counseling psychologist. Thank you very much for your ideas, for your guidance, especially on this topic. Like you said, it's very, very important. Well said. And again, thank you, Charles. And to all our viewers and people who have managed to tune in, remember, GoTV, free to air, and also www.bethanTV.ug. Watch live. You will definitely be part of all our programs, Bethan TV for Health. Thank you very much. For now, bye-bye, and have a very great weekend.